What is up, guys? Ryan here. Can you believe it? Tagshot Season 7 is officially done and dusted. It feels like just yesterday we were all losing our minds over the OG season, and now we're on the brink of Season 8. The hype is real, folks. The servers are down for the big update, and everyone is speculating what's next. Will we get flying llamas? Will the tag guns shoot actual tacos? Who knows? But before we blast off into the future, we need to take a proper look back. Season 7 was a real roller coaster of emotions, full of massive updates, crazy crossovers, and some changes that made us all go, wait, what? So grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's dive into the ultimate review of a season that truly had it all. This season was a long one, eh? It felt like it went on forever, but in a good way, mostly. It gave us heaps of time to really get to grips with all the new stuff the developers threw at us. From massive map overhauls to some of the most unexpected collaborations we've ever seen in gaming, Season 7 kept us on our toes. It was a season of constant change, which can be a bit of a gamble. Sometimes you strike gold, and other times you end up with, well, something that needs a bit more time in the oven. We're going to break down every single part of it, leaving no stone or tag grenade unturned. So, let's get this thing started and see if Season 7 was a legendary win or a bit of a miss. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of Season 7 itself, we have to set the stage. Think back to the end of Season 6. It was called Tagshot OG for a reason. The developers brought back the original map from Chapter 1 and the nostalgia was off the charts. It was a simpler time. The loot pool was basic, the strategies were straightforward, and it was just pure, unadulterated fun. We were all running around our old stomping grounds, remembering the good old days. It was a brilliant move that brought back a massive number of players, myself included. It was the perfect palate cleanser before the absolute chaos that was about to be unleashed with the new season. That OG season was short, sweet, and exactly what the community needed. It reminded us why we all fell in love with Tagshot in the first place. The feeling of dropping into familiar spots like Twisted Towers or Salty Springs was just primo. But we all knew it couldn't last forever. The end of season event was massive, with the classic map getting sucked into a giant black hole all over again. But this time, something new and different emerged. That's where Season 7, Future Forward, began. It kicked off with a brand new map, a whole new storyline, and a promise of constant evolution. And boy, did the developers deliver on that promise of change. So, the new season kicked off and bam, a completely new island. The first thing we all noticed was how different the map was. It wasn't just a remix of old locations, it was a total overhaul. We had futuristic cities with zip lines everywhere, a weird glowing jungle, and even a fancy-pants railway system that you could ride across the entire island. It was a lot to take in. The main hub was this massive city called Cyber Central, and it was pure chaos from day one. Everyone wanted to explore the new train, which led to some pretty hilarious and epic first-day battles. It felt fresh, and the sense of discovery was a massive hook that kept us all playing for hours on end. After we all got used to the new lay of the land, the first major update dropped, the Love Struck update for Valentine's Day. This one was a bit of a laugh, to be honest. The whole map got a pink and red makeover. The developers introduced the Cupid's crossbow, which didn't do any damage, but instead made enemy players do a silly Love Struck dance emote for a few seconds, leaving them completely vulnerable. It was a troll's dream weapon. They also added a limited time mode where you had to team up in duos and share a health bar, which really tested your teamwork and your friendships. It was a fun, light-hearted event that didn't take itself too seriously, which was a nice change of pace. The Love Struck event also brought some new points of interest to the map. A small, romantic-themed area called Cupid's Cove appeared on the coast. It was a beautiful spot with cherry blossom trees and swan boats in the water, but it was also a total hot drop because everyone wanted to get their hands on the Cupid's crossbow, which had a higher chance of spawning there. The railway carts were even decorated with hearts and flowers for the duration of the event. It was a small touch, but it showed the developers were keen to keep the map feeling alive and dynamic, changing things up with each update rather than letting it get stale and boring. This update was a good start to the season's content rollout. It wasn't game-breaking, but it added a layer of fun and silliness that Tagshot does so well. The cosmetics were pretty sweet too, with a bunch of heart-themed skins and gliders. The shared health bar mode, while stressful, was a cool experiment in co-op gameplay that I'd actually like to see return in some form. Overall, the Love Struck update was a solid B+. It was a good time, didn't overstay its welcome, and gave us a legendary new meme weapon with that Cupid's crossbow. What's not to love about that, right? It was a sweet, charming start to the season. Just when we thought we had the season figured out, the developers hit us with the Sonic the Hedgehog update, and let me tell you, things got fast, really fast. This wasn't just a skin in the item shop, it was a full-blown gameplay overhaul. They introduced the Chaos Emeralds as mythic items. If you collected all 7 of them, which was almost impossible, you'd turn into Super Sonic for a short time, giving you super speed and invincibility. More commonly, you'd find the Speed Boots, an item that lets you run at an incredible pace and even run up walls. Cyber Central, with all its tall buildings, suddenly became a parkour paradise, and it completely changed how you moved around the map. The Sonic update also brought a new location to the island. A portion of the map was transformed to look exactly like the Green Hill Zone from the classic Sonic games. It was awesome. There were loop-the-loops you could run through, checkerboard hills, and even bounce pads disguised as springs. It was a brilliant tribute and a really fun place to have a scrap. Chasing someone through the loops while trying to tag them was a whole new kind of challenge. This collaboration felt really well integrated into the game world, much more than just a simple marketing gimmick. It showed that the devs were willing to get creative and really play with the core mechanics of their game, which I have to give them props for. But then, things took a dark turn. As we headed towards the end of the season, the FNAF X Tag Shot event, 5 Nights at Tag Shots, began. This was the crossover nobody saw coming. The vibe of the game shifted completely. The sky turned dark, a creepy fog rolled over the island, and the cheerful music was replaced with eerie, atmospheric sounds. The main attraction was the new point of interest that replaced a quiet farm area, Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. It was a massive, multi-level indoor location, and it was genuinely terrifying. The lights would flicker, and you could hear animatronic footsteps echoing through the halls. It was a masterpiece of environmental design. Inside the Pizzaplex, you had to watch out for more than just other players. The animatronics, Freddy, Chica, Monty, and Roxy, were roaming the halls. They weren't just decorations. They were hostile NPCs that would hunt you down. If they caught you, it wasn't an instant elimination, but it was a jump scare that would make you scream and leave you with hardly any health. It added a survival horror element to the Battle Royale formula that was both thrilling and incredibly stressful. Trying to have a build battle with another player while also trying to avoid getting jump scared by Chica was a unique experience, that's for sure. This event was a bold and ambitious move, and it paid off in a big way for fans of horror. So, let's talk about what I didn't like. Honestly, my biggest gripe was with the Sonic Update Speed Boots. Don't get me wrong, they were fun, but they made the game feel a bit unbalanced. If someone had the boots and you didn't, it was almost impossible to catch them or run away from them. It made engagements feel really one-sided. Fights became less about strategic building and aiming and more about who could run around like a headless chicken the fastest. It also made vehicles like the train and the cars feel a bit useless for a while. It was a cool idea, but I think the speed boost was just a bit too powerful, and it threw the core gameplay loop out of whack for a bit too long. Another thing that bugged me was how cluttered the loot pool became. With every update, new weapons and items were added, but very few were taken away. By the end of the season, you had the standard guns, the Cupid's crossbow, the speed boots, and a bunch of horror-themed items from the FNAF event, all in the same loot pool. It felt a bit messy. Sometimes you'd open 3 chests in a row and not find a single decent weapon, just a pile of gimmicky items. I'm all for variety, but there needs to be a balance. It felt like the game lost a bit of its strategic identity and became more about just hoping you got lucky with the items you found, which can be frustrating. The map changes were mostly great, but the removal of the farm for the Pizzaplex was a bit of a bummer for me. I know lots of people loved the FNAF location, and it was designed incredibly well, but I missed having that open, rural area for a different kind of fight. The Pizzaplex was cool, but it was another tight, close-quarters combat zone in a map that already had a massive city. I enjoy having a mix of environments, from tight urban spaces to wide-open fields, as it allows for different playstyles. Losing that big open space made the map feel a little less varied towards the end of the season, which was a bit of a shame in my opinion. Overall, though, what's my final verdict on Tagshot Season 7? Despite my few complaints, I have to say it was an absolutely epic season. It was ambitious, creative, and constantly surprising. The journey from the nostalgic OG season to the spooky FNAF finale was a wild ride. The developers took massive risks, and for the most part, they paid off. It was a season that will be remembered for its insane crossovers and its willingness to completely change the game. It wasn't perfect, but it was never boring. Now, all we can do is wait and see how Season 8 will possibly top this. My hopes are high. Tee hee.